Alrighty guys, the new patch notes are out, and now we can finally see what the nerfs, and especially the buffs, are gonna be looking like. If you're serious about Hearthstone and you enjoy what I'm doing, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Now, let's check out the patch.
You are not prepared!
Alrighty, us creators had a little bit of a head start again, so we are working through the draft patch notes, but this is what you will be seeing on the official site as well, so here's what it looks like. Dev comment, we have two goals with this patch. First, we want to weaken some of the meta outliers. Second, we want to experiment with smaller buffs across several cards that are rotating out of standard soon, especially in classes that are currently weaker, to see if we can give them one last hurrah. Our hope is that players will try out and enjoy some of these strategies during these last few weeks before they go. This is an experiment, so we'll be tracking player sentiment and play data to see if this works out. Okay, I mean, that's kind of a cool thing to be trying. A little bit iffy, because we're not gonna have that much time to really utilize those cards, but I guess, hey, that's kind of a part of the idea. So yeah, in terms of tracking some of that sentiment, how do you guys feel about this approach? Are you happy that some of these cards are gonna have one last shot at actually being useful in standards? Or you think it's a little bit more like a too little too late kind of deal? Personally, I kind of would have preferred if those cards got buffed while they actually had time in standard, but hey, that's just me. For you, it might be different. Okay, starting off with the nerfs, and obviously Sludge Warlock has been insanely overpowered. Like, I have no idea how some people in my comments still say Sludge Warlock is fine, guys. It's not that big a deal. It loses to this, it loses to that, and yeah, okay, it's not invincible. Nothing is in Hearthstone, but in the end of the day, when you see literally the first entire page of Diamond to Legend for the last 3 days and there's nothing but 65% win rate Sludge Warlocks with several different iterations, I mean, hello guys, like, how much broken does a deck get nowadays? And yeah, Sludge on Wheels definitely got way too powerful after it got buffed to a 2-attack minion, and now it's actually gonna get one less health added to it, so it doesn't give as much sludges nowadays, and this is definitely a great way of nerfing the card, honestly, because nowadays you play this on turn 2 or turn 3 if the opponent had the audacity of having a 1-attack minion on the board. That just means that you're probably gonna get 3 sludges in total in your hand and 3 at the bottom of your deck, and that's kinda insane. Whereas now, even if you slam this into a 1-attack minion, it's gonna leave you at 3 health, and there's a lot of removal at 3 damage, you know? Like, so many things are gonna be able to ping this down efficiently now. So I think this is gonna be a step in the right direction for Sludge Warlock. Next up, we have the Waste Remover, and I'm happy to see that it actually went with what I was envisioning for this card. It's gonna be down to a 5/7. I still think it's a broken card. In the end of the day, 4 mana, 5/7 with upside. Let's not forget this is mainly an upside, guys. Like, let's be real here. Yeah, 4 mana, 5/7, still very playable, still very usable, and feels a bit more fair, you know. With the location, you're still gonna be able to do turn 3 location, turn 4 double 5/7s, and that's still kind of OP any way you slice it. But again, with this and with that getting nerfed, this is trying to look like a healthy way of the deck remaining playable. I don't think these nerfs are gonna destroy the deck. We are gonna have to wait and see how it pans out, but I'm pretty sure that Sludge Warlock should remain pretty powerful. And the last card getting nerfed for Sludge Warlock is the Chaos Creation, and it's kind of losing the flavor, but hey, it's getting new flavor. That's some 05 creation right there. Deal 5, summon a 5 cost, and destroy 5 cards. It's still gonna cost 6 mana, but hey, nothing's perfect. Anyway, one thing that this card has shown me is, goddamn, is the 6-drop pool absolute dog ass. Like, seriously, bro. Anytime you get anything close to a 5/5 out of this card, you're like popping champagne bottles and everything. Like, how many times have I gotten a 3/3, a 3/4, a 4/4? Like, god damn it, dude, what are these 6-drops? Obviously, most of them are sick battlecry cards and whatnot, but damn are they sucky getting out of this. Aside from Sif, obviously, Sif is the highest high roll you could have gotten. But yeah, this is another decent nerf, and the compounding effect with all 3 getting nerfed at the same time, I think it is gonna tone down the deck to a healthy 58, 59, heck, maybe even 60% win rate compared to the 65 we were used to. I think it's gonna be looking a lot more healthier now, and I am excited to try the deck again after the nerfs go live today, so yeah, be on the lookout for some videos for that afterwards. The card is still absolute dog shit for mages, obviously, but no surprises there. Like, you can't really change this card in any meaningful way aside from literally reprinting it into something completely different. So yeah, I don't see how this ever was envisioned as a mage card to begin with, but it is what it is. Def comment: when talking about our first goal to curb power outliers, Warlock is the primary clear outlier across almost all ranks. The deck is strong at all phases of the game, so we're toning down its mid and its late game burst to bring it in line. And I think I am fully agreeing with all of these nerfs. I think they're on point. They are gonna drop the power level, but they're not gonna destroy the deck, so I'm happy with how this one's panning out. As for Shattered Reflections, a lot of you guys were already speculating this should be the nerf, and indeed it is going to be no longer targeting Titan minions. So it's still gonna be the nerfed variant. You're still not gonna be getting the copy in your hand like the first iteration of the card was. But you're also now no longer gonna be able to target Titan minions. So at least Priest players, I saw a few were actually sad that this card's getting nerfed for the second time. But Priest players are still gonna be able to use this card in Automation Priest, let's say, without being too crazy copying their Titan and whatnot, which I think is again, not a bad way of doing things, and thank God we're no longer gonna see the wall of Ionars as soon as literally turn 6, like goddamn, do Druids ramp a lot. So yeah, I'm kinda happy to see this card getting slapped. And moving down to the def comment, ramp style Druid is not a power outlier at most levels of play, but it is becoming a prevalent power and sentiment outlier at high legend. Titans were designed to be unique cards with powerful effects that you can activate maybe a few times per game, not 10 times. They're not even exaggerating there, by the way. Like, you can literally do that 20 times with freaking Druid. We still want the Titans to be those cool, standout, powerful cards, so we're removing them from the pool of cards Shadow Reflection can target. Thank God for that. And the last nerfed card here would be Blind Eye Sharpshooter, and it finally is getting bumped up to a 4 mana, but it also gets a little bit of attack to it, so it's technically getting reworked. But don't worry, guys, you're still gonna get your Epic Dust refund, which is kinda nice. It's gonna be a 4 mana free, and I'm happy to see this card going up to 4, definitely deserves it. It was way too powerful, and honestly it should have been bumped to 4 mana even on the first wave of nerfs. Like, it's just way too powerful, guys. Like, the problem with this being a free mana before was it also stuck around with the 5 health, but if they just bumped it to 4 mana in the first place, this sitting as a 1/5, I think that would have been a fine thing to be doing. Even though now that I said it, I think this is even worse for it now. Like, sitting at a free, you cannot really fantasize of sticking this on turn 3 with a coin, let's say, to curve out on turn 4. But if this was a 4 mana 1/5, you definitely could have tempoed it out and pretend it's gonna stick, and a lot of the time it actually would have. Def comment: Demon Hunter has had its ups and downs. Now it's in an interesting spot where it isn't seeing much play or success at most levels of play, but it is a consistent sentiment outlier for high legend players. Specifically, we've gotten a lot of feedback that players don't like this one card can generate that much damage that early in the game. We're slowing the card down by a turn to make that burst damage slower and clunkier, and buffing other Demon Hunter archetypes in this patch for fans of the class throughout the ladder. The cards above will be eligible for full dust refund for 2 weeks following patch 28.6.2. Okay, so if you guys don't know, when the patch goes live, once this video is out basically, you will be able to write refund in your My Collection, and that's gonna list all of the cards you are eligible for full dust refund. And honestly, anytime that happens, it's always a good idea to just dust those cards. It's always a good idea to just dust those cards, unless you're a whale like me and you literally want to have all the cards at all times. But even I dust them sometimes, because I'm not pretending I'm gonna have the full wild collection anytime soon, at least. So there's that, but yeah, it's basically a great idea to just dust those refund cards, get the full dust back, and use it to something else, like, you know, like put it to good use, not just let it sit there and rot on a bad card you're not planning on playing anymore. And even if those cards turn out to be still good and you still want to play them, you can just use the same amount of dust to craft them right back, whereas if you decide you're never going to be playing those cards ever, after those 2 weeks, they're just going to start giving the low amount of dust refund, so that's not great. Okay, moving down to the buffs now, and we have quite a few of them. The following cards were adjusted to be more powerful. Blightblood Berserker from an 8 mana goes down to a 7 mana, and it still has Taunt, Lifesteal, Reborn, Death Rattle, deal free damage to a random enemy. This card is actually pretty sick. It's still kinda pretty pricey, but the effect on it is hella strong. And I won't be surprised if things like Highlander Shaman start picking this guy up. Yeah, this card is gonna be interesting to see how it pans out. And another card Shaman is getting buffed is From the Other Side. The 10 mana From the Other Side, summon a copy of each minion in your hand, they attack random enemy minions then die. This one is going down to 9 mana. I did see some OTK decks few months ago trying something like this with the 6 mana Death Rattle that kills the opponent once all the Death Rattles are active. And I don't know, maybe there is gonna be something OTK like that popping out like that. This guy is definitely gonna be a part of it because it's giving you some nice sustain in the process. And yeah, this is a tricky card because it's quite powerful, but then again quite expensive too, so it's gonna be a weird one. It does summon copies of each minion in your hand, so you're not going to be losing a lot of value in the process. But it is also just attacking random enemy minions and then die, so you're not going to be going face with this either, so you are going to want some good Death Rattle action going with this one, but we will have to wait and see what's going to be a good deck out of this. Fun fact, this thing is actually going to remain on the board as a free one, Taunt Lifesteal. And it is gonna deal the free damage, because it does have Reborn on it, so... And it also has Death Rattle, so that's gonna be free extra damage. And yeah, it's gonna be a good part of a potential deck that emerges with this. Here's another good Taunt Reborn Death Rattle minion that is gonna be nice in that deck, I'd assume. And this one used to just have Taunt Death Rattle summon a 6/6, but this one also actually has Reborn, and it only summons a 4/4. So this is a lot more stickier, a lot more problematic to actually handle. Like, this is going to be a wall of taunts unless you have an efficient way of removing this one. It also is going to work out well with the From the Other Side if it comes down to that. And it's looking kind of spicy, like you're definitely going to be very happy getting this randomly generated. Like, with the new Chaos creation, this is a potential 5-drop you can get. So that's kind of interesting to think about. But yeah, it should be able to fit into something like Highlander Shaman for sure, I'd say. We also have a pretty fun card getting down with the mana, and this is definitely going to make this card a lot more playable. This is the 1 mana 1/2 Scourge Tamer Battlecry Craft a Custom Zombies. Custom Zombies were hella fun when Rexar came out with the Death Knight cards. Back in the day, definitely enjoyed a lot of that shenanigans, and this one sitting as a 1/2 definitely should be a lot more playable. Like, you could get some sick combinations with the Zombies. I have not played a single Zombies ever since this card came out, so I will be interested to see if something actually emerges out of this, like maybe some kind of Cleave Beast Hunter still could utilize this guy and whatnot. And yeah, sitting at only 1 mana, it's gonna be a lot easier to include this guy into decks. And it used to be a 2 mana 2/2. It is losing 1 attack, but for half the mana, definitely is worth it. For Demon Hunter, we have Coil Scar Commander, which used to be a 2/6, and now it's gonna be a 3/7. And yeah, if you've cast free spells while holding this, summon 2 copies of this. When I first saw this card, I thought it's gonna be actually quite decent. Boy, was I wrong. But now as a 3/7, I don't know, like that's a good amount of stats buffed. Sitting only at 6 mana, it's also a Naga. It definitely might work out, maybe as part of some big Naga Demon Hunter kind of deal. It is interesting to see, especially once you see some of the other buffs Demon Hunter is getting. But yeah, be on the lookout for this card. It might actually be interesting to see how that one goes. Another card is Deal with the Devil. It's getting a buff, and this one is actually gonna be summoning up to 4 free freeze with lifesteal if you don't have any minions in your deck. Spell Demon Hunter was a very scary deck to be playing against back in the day, but after Steno got nerfed quite a few times, now it's actually not even on the radar anymore. But with buffs like these, we might actually see something to emerge again. Like with the legendary weapon, maybe Steno, the +2 attack, the +2 spell power, that kind of deal. It might actually work out something like that. And that's not the only part Demon Hunter is getting buffed. We also have Topple the Idol, which used to be a 5 mana and now it's going to be a 4 mana. And this card is Dredging, reveal the card and deal the damage equal to its cost to all minions, yours included, so be careful with that. But it is another buff for the Spell Demon Hunter deck. And potentially the combination with all of these might actually topple the deck over the top, but I wouldn't really put too much money on it. But it is going to be interesting to see what these cards might do once they all get nerfed at the same time. And we also have Mark of Scorn, which is another card from Spell Demon Hunter back in the day, and now it's going to be dealing 4 damage to the lowest health enemy, up from 3 damage. This card was quite powerful when the Spell Demon Hunter was OP, but it was never really the reason why the deck was OP. It was always Lady Steno. So yeah, all of these getting buffed at the same time might actually make for some interesting situations. And it's kind of scary to think, because Spell Demon Hunter was another very, very toxic deck to play against, and basically we removed Naga Demon Hunter just to be playing against Spell Demon Hunter. A little bit thin ice there, Hearthstone dev team, but I am interested to see how that one's gonna pan out for sure. Moving down to Mage, we have a handful of buffs as well, starting off with the 1-mana Trent Surveyor. This thing used to be a 2-mana 3/2, and now it's gonna be a 1-mana 1/2. Battlecry, Dredge, if it's a mech, draw it. This is a very, very OP 1-drop now, like 1-drop with such positive effect with decent stats and a tribe, that's kind of huge. Like, it's a pretty nice card. I'm definitely feeling like this might help Mech Mage in some way, even though it's probably not enough to take it over the top, and we're not really getting too much more support on this archetype, so I'm not sure if it's really gonna do all that much for the class, but the card on its own definitely looks quite solid as a 1-drop. Moving down to Energy Shaper, which is a card I really hate, because it's basically a random nonsense kind of deal, but kids seem to like it, so who am I to disagree? And the new buff to this is now it's going to be buffing those spells, and they will be costing 3 more, but they will be keeping the original cost still. So yeah, it transforms all spells in your hand into ones that cost 3 more. It's kind of an interesting concept, but it never really was something I was too fond of, because random nonsense like that never feels amazing. Losing 2, and a lot of the times it feels pretty crappy playing it as well, so there's that too. We also have Sunken Sweeper, which is actually another mech that's getting buffed here, so who knows, maybe combined with the 1-drop it might be something. And this one, it used to give you 3 random mechs to your hand, but this is now going to also discount them by 1, which is kind of huge. Like, it is randomly generating 3 mechs for you, but with the discount it might actually be something worth checking out. I don't expect Mech Mage to be anything more than a 55% bottom tier 2 deck from Diamond to Legend. You're definitely not going to see it on Masters or anything, but it is going to be a fun little deck to be tinkering with if you want to be playing some more traditional kind of deal Hearthstone, you know. Moving down to Priest, everyone's favorite class, we have the Mysterious Visitor, and now it's going to be reducing the cost of cards copied from your opponent by 3 instead of by 2. That might be interesting. Definitely is gonna be worth maybe slotting in something like Highlander Priest and whatnot. I'm not sure we're really gonna be seeing a fully fledged Steel Priest emerge because of this, but it's a nice little boost for Priests, especially since they can steal a lot of high quality cards from the opponent with the help of the 3-mana spell. So with this also discounting, you might see some pretty sick stuff, like if you manage to steal a Reno out of the opponent and discount it, that's gonna be like what, turn 5 Reno out of nowhere? Well, it's not gonna be out of nowhere, it's gonna be from your frickin' deck, which is even worse. But yeah, this card might unlock some sick high rolls for the class, which I'm not too keen for, but let's see how that one goes. We also have Incriminating Psychic, which is another card that copies crap from the opponents, and now it's going to be copying double the crap. It's going to be copying 2 random cards from your opponent's hand, and that's giving you quite a lot of information. Combined with this card as well, you might be in for some very high rolly action from Priests. And I, for one, am not super excited to see how that pans out, not gonna lie. But yeah, 4-mana 2/6 dragon with a tribe, with a taunt I mean, is kind of pretty decent. And with copying 2 cards, you might actually be having some hand size issues with all of the stuff you will be copying, but yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Moving down to Rogue, we have the Pirate Admiral Hooktusk, and now it's gonna be a 7-mana 7/7, and it's only gonna require 7 pirates to play for you to plunder the enemy. This card was interesting at one point. I'm not sure it has enough pirate support right now to really shine. Maybe Wild is gonna have a little bit more luck with this one to actually see play there, but with Wild things just go a lot faster than turn 7, so I'm not too sure about that. But who knows, it might actually be worth checking out in Standard as well, even though 7 pirates is still quite the big number. But the reward is kind of worth it too, so there's that too. And the last card getting buffed is Demolition Renovator. It used to be a 4-mana 4/4, and now it's going to be a 3-mana 3/3. It also has tradable, and the battle cries destroy an enemy location. Locations have been quite powerful. I'm not sure right now how powerful they are though, like the best locations now would be for Warlock and Sludge Warlock, so with that getting nerfed, I'm not sure this really is going to do all that much. But locations in general are pretty OP. They are rotating, like this card is also rotating with them. So there's that too, but I don't know. Again, it feels like a little bit too little too late kind of deal. If this card got buffed this way a long time ago, it would have seen maybe a lot more play than it should have. Right now, I think, like, am I missing something? Which are the OP locations in Standard right now? Aside from the location for Warlock, I can't really remember anybody unironically playing much in terms of locations nowadays. Like, Pally's throw the free location here and there. Maybe Big Pally, Dancing Pally throws the rush location here and there, but nothing really warrants including this card right now, is it? We also have a few bug fixes at the bottom. Fix the bug where the Malfurion, the Pestilent in Hearthstone iconic Druid hand didn't grant armor when played. Ooh, that was a bummer then. I guess that's the only bug fix for Standard. The rest is for Battlegrounds, and there's a bunch of stuff happening to Battlegrounds as well, but we're not really covering those much, so it is what it is. But yeah, what do you guys think these nerfs and buffs are going to be doing to Hearthstone? Personally, I think Sludge Warlock is still going to be a pretty good deck to play with. Shattered Druid, probably not as amazing anymore, and same goes for aggro Naga Demon Hunter, but with the buffs, there is definitely some potential to be seen here and there, especially for Demon Hunter, especially for Priest, maybe some Mech Mage out there, and also maybe some of that Shaman action might start popping. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope this helps you figure out what you want to be playing after the patch goes live. And if you enjoyed the content and you find what I'm doing helpful, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget you can have me for some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.